We are.
Boom, 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 boom. All right, men, women, children of all ages, welcome in to our playoff Fan Central location here in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll give it time to populate, and then we'll crank this thing up here in just a second. If you're new to the show, that is Lance Taylor in his Rams gear down there. It is game day with the Rams. Ryan Brown right here, cool and ready to go for a 34-degree high. By the way, if you're keeping up with the weather here in Indianapolis, it was 34 when Brown and I made our way over here to Fan Central this morning, and that was your high temperature. It will not get any higher. We'll drop all the way to 18 degrees today.
You're excited about that, Lance?
No, not excited. You know, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, though.
Because you're rarely outside.
No, but I thought it was going to be like 8.
Yeah. Well, I will remind you, 17 later on today, so that's close to 8.
Yeah.
And I will remind you that last night, literally, these sidewalks are freezing.
That's right.
Out of the blue, just out of the blue.
So I was pulling up to meet, before I met you guys, at a place called Kilroy's.
Right.
And the Uber driver told me, he's like, you've got to walk like a penguin outside tonight.
You really did.
And I was like, what does that mean? And like literally right when he said that, this dude on the sidewalk fell.
It was crazy.
Completely busted.
But what was crazy was this is just like that.
Yep.
I mean, they just froze out of the blue.
I'll tell everybody who's joining in now to watch, the way I approached it, I pictured in my head, I'm about to walk out and sing the national anthem in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. And I did that walk out there on the ice.
Well, I asked
the whole
you,
time.
My left elbow, for whatever reason's banged up this morning. I really don't know what happened to it. Did you see me fall last night?
I did not see you fall last night. I will tell you, getting out of your – we'll save it for the show. Let's get going here. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome into our Sunday edition of our countdown to the national championship game. Georgia and Alabama have left the comfort of home and brought it all the way up here north to Indianapolis. Not really that far north, but it has felt like it all week. Ice has been a talking point. Every restaurant and bar we go into, you hear the locals saying all of us Southerners have invaded their city and complained about the weather. High today will be 34. It is true.
That is true. I cannot deny that.
It is true. And the drive up here for a lot of people has not been easy, but they have arrived. There are Georgia fans by the galore, Alabama fans by a ton, and it'll be a nice mixture inside Lucas Oil. We are here at Fan Central, Playoff Fan Central. This is free. If you're making your way into town today or tomorrow before the game, you can come here at Fan Central and enjoy all the pregame festivities, and then it's a covered indoor walk into Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's a great place to start. You really never have to get outside once you get inside down here. All right, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Jim Dunaway. Let's start the conversation with the fact that the teams are all here. They've been doing news conferences. The final media availability was this morning when the two head coaches got out, and they had the opportunity to finally do their last news conference. A lot of talking for Kirby and Nick to get to this game. And just as a set the table type scenario, I'll start with you, Ryan, and then go to LT. Where are you on this game right now? You've heard Nick Saban say this a lot this week. His mindset is trying to downplay. He's trying to downplay the rematch. He says, man, all these guys want to play in the NFL. Everybody in the NFL in your division, you play a rematch every year. Sometimes you play a team 3 times if you face them in the playoffs. The other side has been Kirby Smart saying, man, I lived this in 2011. Advantage us in the rematch game. Both of these can be right. What have you thought of the lead up to the game?
Well, I mean, that obviously is all the talk is about the rematch nature of this. We've seen this one time. So, Lance, I think if you convince yourself Alabama's going to win, you convince yourself based on the fact that I watched this one time. I saw these two teams on the field already. It looked like a little bit of a mismatch, honestly, when these two teams played the first time. So how can Georgia close that gap in a month, basically? If you want to talk yourself into Georgia, you say Georgia is the better team. They, for whatever reason, were not the better team that night. And because it's a rematch, they have the advantage.
Well, when we watched Alabama in that first matchup, Georgia in the regular season gave up 29 first-half points. They gave up 24 in the second quarter to Alabama. They scored 41 points. They had 5 drives of 75-plus yards. So you look at that Alabama offense, what they were able to do. Their offensive line played incredible against what is a great defense. Talking to Alabama fans and actually people close to the program last night, Dunaway, I don't know if you had these conversations. We were together last night, but people really close to the program, they feel really good about this game. And I'm a little surprised. For whatever reason, I've had this feeling for the last couple of weeks, Georgia wins this game.
And that has been your feeling, and you shared that with some of the inner circle of the Alabama football program last night. We're sitting talking to a bunch of people, and you told them all week long that Georgia's going to win the game, and they were like, "Well, we don't think so." But you kept telling them that Georgia's going to win the game.
I'll give Lance credit for not just
no,
playing to the crowd.
No, yeah.
I mean,
but I understand your belief, but in the rematches, the stats, the metrics back up that the better team wins the rematches, that the rematch doesn't make a difference.
Who's a better team, though?
So that's what you have to come up with. Did Alabama upset Georgia the first time, or was Alabama the better team the first time? If Alabama's the better team, if you feel like Alabama was the better team, you feel really good about Alabama in this game. If you think Alabama upset Georgia, which is sort of where I came down on, then you think, okay, Georgia's got a really good chance to win this because they're the better
Here's
team.
where I will contradict myself. I mean, coach and quarterback is not even close. The combination.
That's right.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, superior by a long shot in both situations.
But watching this Georgia defense all year, outside of the Alabama game, they were completely dominant. And watching Alabama's offensive line, it was shaky at best the entire year. And I just don't know how they played as well as they did in that first matchup. And I just don't believe they're going to be able to hold up in this second matchup. Okay. I think Georgia this time has got chip on shoulder. Alabama had chip on shoulder first matchup. I think it's different this time.
The show being brought to you by all of our great sponsors: Adam Mestre, Johnston RV, Culver's, Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Hemphill Services, and Wayne's Smart Pest Control. Let's start with Wayne's. Tell everybody about the great folks at Wayne's, and we'll get into some of these prop bets because I think that can sort of tell us the story of the kind of game we're going to get tomorrow night for the national championship.
Yeah, you hear us talk about Smart Pest. Here's what this is. Are you concerned about rodents in your crawl space in your attic? You don't want to get up there and deal with it? Wayne's does it for you. They have got a 24/7 rodent monitoring service. It is called Smart Pest. It monitors and proactively communicates to prevent an infestation. It is the most intelligent, eco-friendly pest control solution available today. 866-WAYNES1 for more information on this. 866-WAYNES1. When you call, tell them you heard it with us by using code TNR. That is code TNR. And they're going to give you $60 off your initial Smart Pest service. 866-WAYNES1.
The hat I'm wearing, toboggan, knit cap, what's it called?
That is a toboggan.
I grew up calling it a toboggan. I think most people that generally wear those up north or in the Midwest here call it a knit cap or there's something else, a toque.
Okay, so
I think I've heard it called a toque.
Without the little, and I almost wore my Rams today.
Right.
With the little fuzzball or whatever. That's a toboggan. Without that, it's a skull cap.
It's a skull cap. Yeah, your fuzzy ball makes it a toboggan.
Thank you.
So
my buddy Mike Rada says my dad always called it a dunzel cap. Which was
never heard that one.
It was a common term, he said, in the Germanic population of his hometown in Cincinnati, about an hour and a half from here. And he says, however, dunzel is not a word found in any German dictionary, so he has no idea where it came from.
I will guarantee in the mud puddle, you guys called the shatter the commode, right?
We did. It was a commode. Yes, and this was a toboggan.
Yeah,
this was a
toboggan. You always call it a toboggan.
You used the word galore today to open the show. I've never heard you use that word.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I've changed. I'm a different character in the North. I'm the Jim of the North.
I don't like the North, by the way.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be
I would not have wanted to work the wall in Game of Thrones.
No. Well, I did like, to sidetrack. We'll get back to the national championship in just a second. I did like the fact that your job was pretty simple on the wall in Game of Thrones. If you watch that, like, you didn't really have to have many career goals at that point. You really wasn't stressed about your day to day.
Just hung out and smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, nobody was trying to get a better house or better clothes or anything like that. You sort of knew what your existence was, and to me, there is less pressure on you there, right? You knew every day you woke up, you did your chores, you tried to stay warm, you kept the White Walkers on that side of the wall,
right?
And you saved Earth.
Do you guys typically believe what people say? And I've got a point because I bring up the cigarettes. I was with the Uber driver this morning coming over to the venue we're at right now, and he said that he's hung out with Larry Bird a bunch, which I thought was really random. It's a guy that designs bathrooms, but he's also an Uber driver.
Right.
But he told me that Larry Bird smokes a pack of Marlboro Reds every day.
How about that?
And he drinks a case of beer every day.
Wow. I would tend to doubt that.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you, I think I'm trying to beat him right now in Indy.
How many Marlboros you smoked?
No Marlboros.
That is hard to say.
It is Marlboros.
Yeah.
But I have drank more than a keg of Bud Light in these 2 days we've been on the road up here, thanks to our great sponsors, Bud Light. And thank you, Wayne's, for bringing us this part of the show. One prop bet that's out there And I think this is going to tell you what you were talking about, Lance. In the first meeting, Georgia, Alabama, a ton of points in the first half, right? A ton of points. I'm looking at an over-under earlier this week of first half points at 25.5 points.
Going under.
So that is they're expecting this to be a lot less of a offensive explosion early in this game.
Well, I've said this. I think if Alabama wins this game, well, whoever wins this game is going to be based on defense. But I think if Alabama is to win the rematch, I think the defense has really got to show up. I think John Mechie, missing that dynamic, just how they complement each other, Jamison Williams and John Mechie, I think that is such a factor in this game. And that's one of the reasons I believe Georgia will win this game. But if Alabama is to win the game, I think it's the defense. I think it's dominating, and I think it's really disrupting what Stetson Bennett will actually Stetson's been so consistent this year outside of the Alabama game.
Yeah. Here's another prop from the chat room. MJ, the odds LT flies home before the game.
I had that discussion at breakfast this morning with Brown.
I've already checked flights.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm shocked at this.
I said, this was my quote. This was my quote to Brownie. If the Rams had played a Saturday game with the way these first 2 days of the trip has gone, LT would do this 1 hour show here. He'd be on an afternoon flight, and he'd join us from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios on Monday, Tuesday.
Well, I hate to say that everything's going to be based on this. I don't like the way this number's going. So the Rams have opened at 6.5. It's gone down to 3.
Talking about the Bama Georgia number.
No, just real quick.
All right, real quick, please.
If the Rams win today, you will see a much different me.
Okay.
You guys will see a fun me. If the Rams
right.
lose, I'm probably you probably won't see me after the show.
Okay.
Okay.
The Pinnacle says there's untapped speed in Bama's wide receiver core, and nobody's seen yet. What's to say JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, Jamison Williams all line up together, complete burners? I mean, they do have a lot of speed, and Georgia's secondary is its weakness.
Yeah, but
on defense.
But Jamison, you expect. I mean, he's become one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in college football. And look, Ja'Cory Brooks has made big plays in big games, big moments. But I would be shocked if JoJo Earl goes out and has some kind of monumental game against this defense. I just don't see. Somebody needs to step up, and it can be a moment or two, a grab or two. But one of these guys is not going to go out and have 8 to 10 grabs against this defense. Just not going to happen first time.
All right, more from the Farmfolio chat room in just a second as we roll on. We're up here at the National Championship in Indianapolis. We're at Fan Fest going on. One news note today, former Ole Miss quarterback and wide receiver John Rice Plumlee has picked a school. He is going to UCF, and he's going to play for Gus Malzahn.
He's a good Gus Malzahn player, actually.
And could be a Gus Malzahn quarterback.
Yeah, I actually think that's a pretty good fit for him.
Yep.
Again, I just don't get it because Mikey Keene is a freshman.
Yeah.
That once they lost, help me out.
Not
Dylan
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Once he went down, I think after 4 games, Mikey Keene came in as a true freshman. I thought he played well. He's an athletic kid, and he's a freshman. So I don't know what Plumlee's role is going to be. You guys think he's going to be starting quarterback next year?
No, I don't. I just think he'll get used a lot more by Malzahn than he was in the Kiffin system this year. But that's, this year Kiffin also had some really good receivers. So, it was a little bit more difficult maybe to mix him in.
I will tell you, Ole Miss is not trending in the right direction.
They're not. Big transition for Ole Miss this year. But we're here to talk Alabama and Georgia today. It's being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Hemp Hill Services, LT, no matter where you are in our viewing area, listening area, Hemp Hill can help you get your mess cleaned up.
Yeah, when something's not running right, flowing right, draining right, or flushing right, disaster can strike at any moment. That is when you need to pick up the phone and call our friends at Hemp Hill Services, Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys that I always call. I trust them to fix it right. Always the first time, always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090.
And also our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, bringing you this live show from Indianapolis and our entire coverage up here, whether it's lunch today, dinner, or anytime during the week, or just storing up. Get a good party package going for the Monday night game to sit back and watch the Tide and the Dogs play each other. Champy'sChicken.com. Champy's world famous fried chicken. Sterling and the crew there, always supporting the local teams from high school to college. It's Champy's world famous chicken, home of the great Mississippi Delta tamales, and a lot more. Check out the menu at Champy'sChicken.com. All right, the drought is how they call it for Georgia. 41 years. Kirby Smart said today, not my concern. I played in some of those. I've coached in a lot of them now. But that's not my concern. My concern is one game. I can't worry about 41 years. I got to worry about 60 minutes.
Well, him and Stetson are on the same page with this, Brown, but in the back of their minds, they have to worry about this. I mean, it's become a mental, psychological factor, and I believe Georgia's a little bit better than Alabama. I know the first meeting Alabama won this, but the only reservation I've got is the psychological factor that Alabama just owns Georgia right now.
Yeah, I mean, I almost think I do think Lance is right. I almost think that the bigger mental hurdle for Georgia is not trying to bust that national championship wall down. It's trying to bust that Alabama wall down. I think the Alabama wall is a far more significant wall for this current Georgia team now. Maybe previous Georgia teams, that national championship thing has hung over them. But this iteration of Georgia football with Kirby Smart at the helm, it is the Alabama wall that is the wall they can't break down. You guys talked about being the wall walkers or whatever in Game of Thrones. I assume they were there to protect that wall.
Yep.
That wall for Georgia is Alabama. Now,
Well,
I don't know how it ended on Game of Thrones, but that's Alabama.
The wall came down.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I can't even imagine, and I don't know about you guys, it seems to me, at least being in this town, how long have we been here? 24 hours?
Sure.
I can't even remember.
It seems like
But it seems like 2-1 Georgia fans.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the way it was in Atlanta. I expected it to be sort of the same kind of stadium setup as it was in Atlanta.
I just, the celebration, if Georgia's able to win this game, I can't even imagine. I really can't, because I know a lot of Georgia fans. Actually, I live with one. But they've been waiting for this moment for so long, and they were so close. You guys were at that game. You guys were on the sideline, right?
Yep. We were there. So
They had that game won.
Yep, they did. And then Tua took it away, and they won the national championship. So I will tell you, coming up on the show, we may have an old friend stop by in Ian Fitzsimmons. Is that today or tomorrow?
That'd be tomorrow.
Ian Fitzsimmons will stop by tomorrow on the show.
Forgot to call him last night.
He texted me.
There are two other people you forgot to call. We'll tell LT who he forgot to call last night, and some other things that you Alabama fans said to LT when you were leaving the Hey Coach show. That is coming up right here as you listen to our coverage of Next Round Live up here at the National Championship from Fan Central on this Sunday, the eve before the big game, the National Championship between Georgia and Alabama. It's being brought to you by today, our National Championship coverage by our friends at Culver's. Taste delicious.
We stopped and got some Culvers on the way up here. Right, there's a bunch of them up here in Indiana, and there are a bunch more coming to Birmingham as well. Right now, you go get some great Culvers and enjoy delicious with Culver's on 150 and 459 Stadium Trace, right there next to the Hoover Med, or coming soon, Highway 280 and 119 Tattersall Park. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
That's right. Next Round Live from the National Championship being brought to you in part by our friends at Culver's there. And we had that great burger on the ride up. Check them out on Highway 150 and coming soon to Highway 280 Culver's. And don't forget the dessert. It is fantastic. All right. Before we get back into the game, just a little bit of what's been going on up here. Last night, we had a chance after dinner to go hang out with our buddy John Parker Wilson and a friend of ours. And we met over at the Alabama Hotel, not the Media Hotel, the Alabama Hotel where the team is staying, because that's where Hey Coach was last night. And Coach Saban was fantastic. And, the fans were there to ask questions. It was a live show. John Parker was up there with Eli and the crew. Then afterwards, the fans started spilling out. And my favorite part were, we got to take some pictures and sign some autographs with some Bama fans. My favorite part yesterday was this. I think it happened twice. I know it happened at least once. I think it happened twice. Two different female Bama fans with their husbands walked up to LT, and at different times, both of them said, "I just can't stand it when you call her the roommate." And one guy thought it was your wife, and you were explaining, no, it's my girlfriend, and she technically is a roommate. And that was a discussion that Alabama fans were having with you coming out of Hey Coach last night. You remember that, right?
Well, yeah. But I mean, technically, she is a roommate, right?
You said that.
I mean,
and the lady was like, call her your girlfriend. Call her your girlfriend. And I was like, Maggie does the same thing. I'll come home every day, and I get hit in the arm because LT called her the roommate on the show today.
Yeah, well,
Jennifer doesn't care.
Yeah.
I just appreciate it was fun hanging out with a lot of people that actually listened to the show.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Met a couple from Wetumpka who download the app and listen all the time. Just really wonderful
People buying gear too.
Yeah, we have people tell us about love the Curb Your Enthusiasm shirt. Y'all need to have one when we beat them again, they were saying, or if we beat them again. I guess we could do Curb Your Enthusiasm 2 or something like that. Another season.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is there's going to be a moment. You know, that's what's so cool about, you know, championship games and big sporting events is, you know, we have no idea what's going to transpire, but you know, there's going to be like this monumental moment that will be something we'll talk about for years.
Yeah, and so too is the journey. You know, you see, and this is totally different than went on in Dallas, where the players were bubbled up, like they didn't see their families, they didn't see their friends until after the game. Well, now we're to the championship game. There's no more testing. You know, there's no more. The protocols are different here than it was of having to get to the championship game. So a lot of the players, you know, signing autographs last night in the lobby with family members and friends, moving around a little bit more freely.
Yeah, I was a little surprised how accessible people were
Yeah,
last night.
and I've discussed that with Slade Bolden, and ATIX is bringing you that right now. You can see the National Championship Daily Diaries every day, and it's a little bit looser. They're, you know, in the Cotton Bowl, they were very much in a bubble.
That's
Here,
right.
they're in a relaxed bubble, I think would be the way of putting it, which by that, I mean, they're in the hotel. They're not really leaving the hotel except for practice and things like that.
Nothing to do but fall on the ice.
Yeah, they are separated from fans if they want to be, but, you know, with their family, they're able to talk. So, I mean, it's still kind of a looser bubble.
Yeah. So that was different last night. And so too is our journey. We've never done a road trip like this before since 2012 when we went to Miami in an RV. Well, our friends at johnstonrvcenter.com, 2 locations, Coleman and Decatur, gave us a Sprinter van, which is all decked out. And can we just start by saying the folks at Johnston stacked it with so many goodies. We had our Diet Dr. Pepper and our waters and Stella's and all sorts of snacks that you could not. I mean, LT, when we first hit the road, LT was in the back saying, "We've got Nutter Butters," and we've got. I mean, he was calling them all out.
Yeah,
I tried to tell Jack. I called him up and I was like, I can't even explain like how many snacks we have. Like, and I was yelling at you guys. I mean, I mean, it was everything. Chips Ahoy. We had Nutter Butters. We had the what are the Star Kissed? What are those things called? Star Crunch.
Star Crunch, yeah.
We had Little Debbie's. We had Ruffles, Pringles, Doritos,
almonds,
M&Ms.
M&Ms, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
The saddest thing was the family there, the Johnston family. They said, "Okay, here's this."
Yeah, for me and Brown, and then they had the Dunaway side.
And then they were like, and of course for Way to Wellness over here, Dunaway, I've got your almonds and your cheese curds and
tofu.
some things over here.
Yeah.
So, but hey, I've been eating from across the aisle. I'm very independent when it comes to my snacks.
By the way, we have not done good on dinners.
Oh, it's been I told
you guys had like an unbelievable run in Dallas.
Yeah,
and like our run right now is terrible.
That run has ended. Yeah,
and there's a stat that coincides with that, Brownie. 3 meals in a row now. Brown has ordered and not me following Brown.
Without knowing,
Brown has ordered the same thing I have.
Yeah.
After I've ordered it, he didn't know I'd ordered it, and they've been 3 bad meals.
One was okay, 2 or
it's a bad stretch.
One was bad. JohnstonRVCenter.com is a long way of saying thank you to them. Nick and Rodney Johnston, father-son team there. It is the top-selling travel trailer dealer in the state of Alabama. As Jim said, a couple of locations, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, exit 334 in Decatur. Exclusive lifetime warranties from RV Warranty Forever on all new models and used models under 2 years old. Financing is available and is home to Cherokee, America's #1 selling camper brand, Johnston RV Center. You find them online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Absolutely. And we're out here, LTD&B, at the National Championship at the Playoff Fan Central, located at the Indiana Convention Center, connected to Lucas Oil Stadium, where we'll play the National Championship game coming up Monday night between Georgia and Alabama. The 2 coaches on Sunday morning, their last media availability. Kirby Smart had this to say. Tell me if you agree with this quote or not, guys. Quote, "They really do not have weaknesses across the board." Kirby about Alabama. They really do not have weaknesses across the board. True or false statement? Fact or fiction?
I mean, I think it is fiction.
I do too.
Alabama's offensive line has been a weakness all year long. Kirby, for whatever reason, you know, there's some mysteries in this college football season. One of the biggest mysteries to me is how Zach Calzada played the way he did against Alabama that Saturday night in College Station. That one I don't know if it'll ever make sense to me. One of the other big mysteries this season, Lance, is how Alabama's offensive line went from what it was in the Iron Bowl to what it was in the SEC
Makes no
championship in
sense.
1 week. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Against a better defense. It's not like you could say, well, Auburn's defense was the best in the nation and Georgia's is middle of the pack. Georgia's defense was the best in the nation and Auburn's was good.
Yeah, I don't know what's more incredible because Calzada, to me, was a very average quarterback the entire year.
Yeah.
And he played out of his mind that night. But Alabama's offensive line, going against that defense, Georgia's defense, you guys have watched them for 13, 14 games now. Was it 14 games?
Yeah.
Outside of the Alabama game, completely dominant. Like nobody has done anything on that Georgia defense. And that offensive line to play like that. I mean, clean pockets. Bryce Young, could you make the argument his best game of the year was against Georgia?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he locked down the Heisman that night.
That's right. It was his drop the mic moment with the Heisman Trophy. So that's a great point there.
We play fantasy, the DraftKings.
Yeah, DraftKings.
I put my lineup in for tomorrow night. Guess who my captain is? It's the one-off, and this is like really nerdy. And Brown, you don't play a lot, but
so you get a point and a half for
the captain.
You went Bryce Young.
I
he touches the ball all the time.
I think you went Stetson Bennett.
I went Stetson Bennett. I think Stetson Bennett will throw for close to 350 yards.
Stetson Bennett, again, we used to say this about Mac Jones. Before Mac Jones showed you the kind of quarterback he was as a full-time starter for Alabama, a lot of people used to say, well, what is Mac Jones like? And we would say, well, if you go back to that Iron Bowl and take away the 2 pick sixes, he had a phenomenal game. And everybody, you can't take away 2 pick sixes. Well, you can't. Stetson Bennett.
Those are big, by the way.
They are big. Won Auburn the game. Stetson Bennett, if you go back to that SEC championship game and take away the bad pick that cost him points from the 19, the pick six to battle that was 7 points, Stetson Bennett didn't play a terrible football game. He played well enough for Georgia to win that game.
You're right.
Now, what you cannot do is take that stuff away. You just can't take it away.
Well, and look, and I do think that, Georgia -2 in turnovers and matchup 1 in the SEC championship. This is so easy to say. Whoever wins turnover battle tomorrow night will win this game.
I would tend to agree. And I'd go look right now. I would imagine Alabama lost it in College Station. I don't know how often Alabama's lost the turnover battle this year. And they generally don't, Lance.
That's right. That's been the mainstay of a Nick Saban team is that since 2008, they usually control the turnovers.
I haven't seen this number, but Brian Robinson fumbles. Guy doesn't fumble.
He doesn't. Well, they never fumble.
Bryce Young doesn't turn the football over. So it's going to be tough to get.
Cincinnati. I can't comment on either one of those statements.
I know you can't. Cincinnati had the opportunity with the JoJo Earl fumble. And again, I think that game, I think Alabama still wins the game, but I think the game plays out a little differently if Cincinnati recovers that fumble.
Alabama was minus in 2 games this year.
A&M and Auburn.
A&M and Auburn.
A&M and Cincinnati.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Bryce Young threw the interception over the middle against Cincinnati. And that's what's crazy is Alabama did not turn Cincinnati over. I mean, you got to give Cincinnati credit. They played that game. Now, they couldn't do much on offense, but they didn't turn the ball over.
I thought Ritter was bad.
Yeah, I did too. But if he'd have turned it over, imagine what that score would have been.
I thought they were way too conservative to beat Alabama.
No, I don't disagree with that. And that's how you don't get a lot of turnovers. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but in a lot of ways, and Stetson Bennett might be kind of in the same boat. You want to attack Alabama's offense deep, and if it's a deep interception, it's a deep interception.
Yeah, no risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah,
and Bruce Arians, world championship coach,
and that's where I think Luke Fickell obviously knew he was outmanned, and that was his hope was play a conservative style, take points when you can, and hope we get a key turnover.
Yep, or we play them close and they invite us back again to the party sometime down the road.
Maybe that was it. I hope that wasn't his thought.
All right, what the Georgia team said yesterday, they called the nickname they gave our man Bryce Young in just a second after Brownie tells us about rock stars guy Adam Mestre.
Do I have to sing it?
No, I'd rather you not. But
you'd rather me not sing?
The bands are going to be right here on the field in front of us. The what is that? A 50-yard turf field right in front of us here at the Indiana Convention Center. They'll be here in a second. Both marching bands, $1 Million Band, over 400 strong. We're happy not to be sharing a hotel with them this week.
They like the elevators.
They love the elevators.
Adam Mestre is with MD Realty, and he's got some tips for you to get your home ready to go on the market this spring. Stage your home properly is number 1. Do all the painting and all the touch-up work, all the minor repairs. Stock up on light bulbs. Have all the lights working. Give your house a deep clean. Declutter. Depersonalize. Rent a storage unit. Get some of that clutter out of there. And the other tip is called Adam Mestre. 205-422-0589. That's 205-422-0589. Adam Mestre of MD Realty.
This is defensive lineman Jordan Davis. Quote, on Bryce Young. Quote, he's slippery. And I forgot we were watching, I think, Hard Knocks with the Colts, and they were talking about the gingerbread man and how Kyler Murray was running around like a gingerbread man. That's what we've been calling Bryce all week. Just seeing him run around our defense in the SEC championship game on tape. You have to tighten up. So they've been calling him the gingerbread man all week watching film. They can't get him. He runs away like the gingerbread man.
I can't. I don't know the reference. I mean, I know who the gingerbread man is.
I thought you were going a different direction because I'm looking at ESPN, their headlines, top headlines today. Number 4, is Georgia ready for Bama quarterback Young's, quote, Houdini act? I thought you were going to go Houdini.
Oh, interesting.
Kirby Smart.
That would be better.
Kirby Smart rolled back and says we approach him like we approach Houdini. And so it's a different nickname today for him as well as the Houdini.
Somebody brought this up, and I think we all agree that the one thing that Georgia has always missed is an elite quarterback. And somebody a couple of days ago said, if Bryce Young was on this Georgia team, how different would it be?
It'd be different. Georgia, for whatever reason, under Kirby Smart, has missed on elite quarterback and elite receiver. We talked about that the other day, right? I mean, A.J. Green was an elite receiver, but that was Mark Richt. That was really, I mean, and the reason I bring up A.J. Green, is that the last elite receiver they've really had?
Yeah, it really is. And
I can't think of another one. I mean, because you would go Mecole Hardman, but as we talked, I don't know that he was ever elite at college. I don't know that he's elite in the NFL.
But you know what's
he's good. He's better in the NFL.
Alabama, Ohio State, and USC have multiple
all the time
dominant receivers all the time. And how Georgia can't get one of those guys.
It really makes no sense.
Yeah.
Georgia recruits well at almost every position. They've recruited well at quarterback. They may have just made some wrong decisions.
Listen, this gets into a sketchy part of our show existence when I start trying to explain references because I'm really, really bad at them. But the gingerbread man story of fable, right? He's running so he doesn't get eaten.
Oh, okay.
So he never gets caught.
All right.
It's hard to catch the gingerbread man.
All right.
But he's got weird legs.
He does. I mean, they're fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of short.
But he's
like he worked tough skins as a kid, right?
Probably.
Yeah. But again, I may be wrong. There may be cooler references than that.
No, I think you're right.
Hard
on
to catch the gingerbread
man.
Yeah. Like I've seen animation of you diving and you can't get the gingerbread.
That's right. Yeah.
So Alabama was 102nd nationally in sacks allowed, and they gave up almost 3 per game. If I put it at 2.5 tomorrow night, do you think Georgia gets Bryce Young more than 2 times?
I would say yes if Georgia wins, no if Alabama wins.
I mean, it was 0 last time.
Yeah.
Which again is just baffling.
Amazing.
I'd bet this pinky right here. I had to choose which one I'd use the most. Use my right one. This left pinky right here that they get at least 1 on Bryce.
I am going to pull right now what the I think I can tell you guys what the
while you do that, we'll take a quick bit here for our audio customers along the way. This is our coverage from the national championship in Indianapolis with Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Jim Dunaway, as we continue on right here on the countdown to the national championship on the next round. And we roll along here live now up here in Indianapolis at the Playoff Fan Central, a little fan fest outside Lucas Oil Stadium. And we are back here with you, getting ready for Georgia and Alabama. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar Forrester, and Lunsford along the way as well. Remember, live normal shows, 9 a.m. to 1 Central on Monday and Tuesday here from Indianapolis. And then we're back in studio. If you missed it on Saturday, a great win from Auburn, so deep on the bench. They beat Florida at Auburn Arena. Alabama basketball with their worst loss of the year in conference. They lose to Missouri. Those 2 teams play Tuesday night over in Coleman Coliseum, Auburn and Alabama in that battle. A little of the air taken out of that game, a tad, with Alabama's loss at Missouri there. But we're talking football, getting you ready for the national championship game here. And in part, it's being brought to you by the great folks at Wayne's. The Smart Pest Services at Wayne's getting you ready for the national championship.
They have been proudly serving the heart of the SEC since 1973, more than 100,000 customers. You see 3 of them right here. It's who we trust exclusively for our yard services and our pest control. And now that Smart Pest Service as well. Find out more about that and get $60 off when you mention the code TNR 866-WAYNES1. That is 866-WAYNES1. Let them protect your home from all the warm guests trying to find a warm place this winter. 866-WAYNES1. That's and the number 1.
Shout out to Taylor and some others who are driving up from Birmingham today to Indianapolis for that. It's a big travel up day for those that only coming in for the game. They'll come up on this Sunday and spend the night and then do the game on Monday and then hit back to Birmingham or wherever you're going back to after the Alabama and Georgia game on Monday night. So safe travels. Hopefully it's easier than it was for those of you that drove up through the snow. And then last night, the people who made it up last night through driving rainstorms from Huntsville all the way to South Kentucky. Some feedback coming in our chat rooms, brought to you by our friends at Farmfolio, the Farmfolio chat room. What's happening over there?
How Parker asks, how bad will the Georgia fan base be when Alabama wins tomorrow? I mean, that is a beat-down fan base.
Yep.
An absolute beat-down fan base. I can't imagine their reaction.
We talked about the 41-year drought and how Kirby says that's not his concern. His concern's got to be Alabama right now. And you talked about the wall and got to get past Alabama, not the 41-year drought. I mean, it's built up where you can take care of all of that in one night.
Yep.
I think you worry about the 41-year drought when you got a season to do. You worry about that in the off season. You worry about that when you've got to build, all of that on top of each other to get to this point. Once you're to this point, you can't worry about 41 years and you can't worry about what has happened before now. Alabama, knocking down the Alabama wall is the biggest concern at this point.
I think Kirby, I think we all agree, has done an incredible job at Georgia.
Well, here's a question about Kirby. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to bring this up. I talked to a guy that's really closely associated with college football last night. And he said if Georgia loses this game Monday night, the Georgia fan base will turn on Kirby.
Yeesh.
And I just don't see that.
I don't see that. But here's the question Bob asked. Has Kirby is he a great coach or is he Big Game Bob? The Big Game Bob, for those that don't remember, is Bob Stoops, who did a bunch of winning. Now, Stoops is going to have more conference championships. He won a ton of those, but Stoops did a ton of winning, but never, when he got in the big games.
Here's what I would say.
He shrunk a little bit.
So, Lincoln Riley, same situation. Oklahoma's always been able to get there, and you wonder if it's a conference situation. If you flip Georgia and put them in the West, is Kirby's situation different?
He wouldn't have won as much. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, because Oklahoma, they get into situations to play for national championships, to be in college football playoffs because they're in the Big 12. Like, I don't believe Oklahoma is going to be the Oklahoma that we've seen in the past once they get to the SEC. Would you guys give me that?
Yes, I would give you that.
I think they're a 2 or 3 loss program every single year in the SEC.
Yeah.
Maybe every 5 or 6 years they find that magical 11-1. But I think if you put Georgia in the West, how many times is Kirby really in this situation?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be knocking, Alabama 2019 LSU, Alabama most years, 2019 LSU are going to keep him from getting to the SEC championship game. So it looks very different at that point.
Yeah. Parker says he and his dad are on their way up now for the first national championship game. They will stay in Louisville and tour some of the distilleries. He wants to see us tomorrow before the game. Will be right here, 9 to 1 Central Time, 10 to 2 Eastern here in Indianapolis. I heard somebody else that was doing that. I had not thought of that, but a lot of people are doing the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky on the drive up and then driving up here for the game, because if you didn't pounce on hotels early, Louisville's one of your best bets, because hotels here in Indianapolis are out of sight right now.
And it's surprising. I guess, the teams don't take up entire hotels. Like a traveling party for Alabama, that's one hotel. A traveling party for Georgia, that's one hotel.
Yeah, the Marriott and the Westin, respectively.
When you factor in bands, 400 plus with $1 million band, cheerleading, support staff, all of that. So each team eats up at least one hotel, and the media eats up another. So there's 3, maybe 4 hotels between the support staffs, the teams, and the media that are gone right there. But when you've got the Final Four, which Indianapolis has hosted a lot, and have we played a Super Bowl here?
Yeah. This is an event town. You got the Indy 500. That brings in a quarter of a million people every year.
Yeah,
or more.
Half a million people at least.
Yeah.
Remember who played in the Super Bowl?
Well, I would start with Tom Brady and say it was
Tom Brady versus Patriots.
Tom Brady versus.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't remember Indianapolis having a Super Bowl, but I guess they did.
I had a conversation with another Uber driver yesterday about, he was a Colts fan.
Lance is on the Uber tour.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing when you think about it. This is a great city as far as like sports, and a very passionate Colts fan base. But as good as Peyton Manning was, how about them only winning 1 Super Bowl?
Yep.
Yeah. His brother Eli won it here. Giants 21, New England 17 was the Lucas Oil Stadium Super Bowl.
How about that?
Yeah, back February 5th, 2012.
That wasn't the 18-0, 19-0
No,
Patriots.
that was not
right?
the
Okay.
that was not the catch on the helmet.
Okay. All right. So Indianapolis ready to host another big event. And do they roll back with the Final Four in 2 years?
I can look, but they get it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a great spot for the Final Four. I mean, this is a really cool town. I like this town.
No, they had it last year. It was
Did
the Final Four last year. Remember, we
Well,
played
they had the whole tournament,
We played
yeah.
the whole tournament here since it was going to be the Final Four site anyway.
Right,
they went
right,
on
right.
and did it
Yeah.
all right here.
Yeah, this site will get bashed because of the weather, but it is a cool town.
Yeah, I am not going to hold the weather against them. There's nothing you can get about
That's
that.
right.
I told you one prop bet in Vegas was first half points combined for both teams, 25.5. Alabama team total for the game is also 25.5 over under. That's one of the prop bets there. Give me your answer on that after Brownie, after you actually, LT, tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill.
Yeah, again, if something's not running right, flowing right, flushing right, you need to call our friends at Hemp Hill. They are the name that Birmingham and Alabama has trusted since 1954. Call 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the team at Hemp Hill, the ones I trust to fix it right, fix it the first time, always at a fair price. Call today, 205-229-2090. It's Hemp Hill.
So over 25.5 LT for Alabama team total. Can Alabama score 26 or more in this game against Georgia? And I would say it depends on the kind of games that Slade Bolden, who Brown talks to daily in our players' diary, Billingsley, Latu, Ja'Cory Brooks. It depends on the people replacing Mechie. How are they able to come back and do anything? That's the key to the game.
Well, I want to bring up that, Bill O'Brien, we talk about the game plan that they had against Cincinnati. And look, and it was the only thing that they needed to do was run the football. But let's not forget they only scored 27 on Cincinnati. I think this is an under. I think Alabama is going to score 17 to 21 points. I think Georgia's defense is that good. I think Alabama had a special moment kind of game in the SEC championship. I don't see that getting replicated.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over in this one.
Over 25.5 for Bama?
I think Alabama goes over the 25.5. I think you got a healthy Brian Robinson this time. Missing John Mechie is huge. Can Ja'Cory Brooks fill some of that role? Can you get a little bit more out of JoJo Earl? He was back against Cincinnati, but you didn't get a whole lot out of him. Slade Bolden, Billingsley could have a big game. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. And, I think you can get over that number.
Nacho Bama. Oh, that guy right there. He's crazy. He walks around. He walks around the games now at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Nacho Bama?
Yeah, and poses for pictures.
Well, he was just posing for some right there.
Yeah, Nacho Bama's the man. He's I don't know how you become a character.
That's a dedication to character, though.
No, it is. So let me ask you. At one point when I was growing up, there was a kid, and some of you will remember this. I was a kid, but at Broncos games, there was a naked guy
with a barrel.
In a barrel.
Yeah, the barrel man, I think is what they called him, actually.
Now he becomes an iconic.
He did, by the way.
He died.
He did, but he became an iconic figure that would get shown on television every time in NFL films and all of that. But he had to be the idiot that showed up the first time in the barrel, right?
Somebody had to do it the first time.
Right. Now, also, probably dead too, when I was a kid, there was a guy who was always in a cowboy hat on the front row at Cowboy Stadium. And they'd always put him on the camera, and he would do,
I remember him.
shoot the guns and that kind of stuff too. And he was just an iconic fan. Georgia has one, the guy that paints the head, and he may have died too. I don't know. All these people may die. If you're a super fan, you're human too.
No, I've seen the Georgia guy recently with the dog
in his head.
Yeah,
right.
He's there.
But I think he's second generation. I think his dad started that back in the 70s. I think he carried it on.
Lance loved Fireman Ed, the Jets fan.
Yeah, another good example. Another good example, though. But
it's another random thing that Lance just did not like.
Right, the Roll Tide box guys were iconic in college football for a while, but no longer with us. So who's to say that Nacho Bama doesn't end up being
an
iconic figure?
You never know. It's what makes sports great, because you gave a lot of NFL examples there. But the fans that are willing, to make a fool of themselves, just to make a fool of themselves.
Yeah. Now, do I think that one will catch on? It doesn't seem like it will.
Doesn't seem like it, but
right? Because I don't know the tie to Nacho Libre and Nacho Alabama.
Right.
But hey, who knows? Who knows?
It's worth a shot.
Naked guy in a barrel in Mile High Stadium.
Somehow caught on.
Who would have ever thought that would have caught on there? All right. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Wayne's and Hemp Hills, Champies, Culver's, Johnson RV, Adam Mestre. We appreciate our sponsors so much. You're watching us live from Indianapolis here. It's a 1-hour show today, but we're back with you full show Monday, full show Tuesday on both our audio platform and our video stream platform. And thank you to our great sponsors like Champy's Fried Chicken, world famous fried chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you're looking for a great lunch today after church, if you're looking for a great lunch any day during the work week or a dinner, anytime you're on Highway 119 or Alabaster or close enough to make the drive, make it Champy's world famous fried chicken. I just feel in my bones like Sterling's going to start growing this thing all over town. So get in early on Champy's world famous fried chicken. When it comes to your town down the road in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can say, oh yeah, I used to go to the original location back in Alabaster. So the Champy's world famous fried chicken, I know it's up in the Chattanooga and Huntsville area too, if you're watching us, but our man Sterling in Alabaster signed on with us day one at SEC Media Days. We love him and we were glad he's along for the ride in Indianapolis, champy'schicken.com.
Angela reminds us of the Talladega Tire guy. You've seen him, right? That's all he's wearing is a tire.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Naked Cowboy turned 50. Well, we're speaking of people with no
Naked
clothes.
Cowboy's older than 50. Oh, he's older than 50.
He's got to be.
Yeah, I think
he's been around a while.
I think I saw on that birthday website.
You think he's ever had a steroid in his blood?
Yes.
Yes. I thought I saw he turned 50, but Naked Cowboy seemed like kind of.
You're right. I got Naked Cowboy born in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naked Cowboy and Jim Dunaway both seem like guys that would lie about their age.
How about Naked Cowboy 6'4"? I didn't realize he was that tall.
Oh, he's a big dude.
And
I remember he came in studio one time.
I do remember
with
that.
a guitar.
Yep. I didn't remember him being that tall though. 6'4". And went to the University of Cincinnati.
He was.
Yeah, he was a playoff participant.
He's a Bearcat.
He's a Bearcat. Yes.
He didn't show up for the game, did he?
He did not.
Yeah, much like their offense. All right, another prop bet from Vegas on this national championship game. Brock Bowers scores a touchdown. Now that seems so easy, LT, that I can make a bet that Brock Bowers scores a touchdown.
So I want to try to play the way you normally play here, Lance. Mm-hmm. That tells me Brock Bowers isn't going to score a touchdown. Because, I mean, I'm like, Dunaway, man, that seems like easy money right there. The guy had, wasn't it 10 catches in the first game they played?
Like 160 or something.
But that was his season high.
I know, but Alabama had no answer for him.
No, yeah, he went 10-139 in the touchdown. If you go back before the Alabama game, he was averaging 3 grabs a game.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why he was so underutilized. By far, the biggest X factor on that offense is Brock Bowers.
It is. I mean, he's had a better year than Billingsley, but in a lot of ways before that game, it felt a little Billingsley-like, right?
Yeah.
Why does he not catch it more?
So if you had to put your money on Brock Bowers getting a touchdown in this game, yes or no, you would?
I started him in DraftKings. He'll have him a touchdown.
Lance put his money where his mouth is. Yep.
If you guys are new to the show, dialed in on Georgia beating Alabama is Lance on this one. So we'll see if he ends up being right. He was dialed in on Alabama winning the first one at the SEC championship. The fan vote over at 24/7 has the country almost split down the middle on the game at 50-50, where Alabama's carrying a lot of the southern states and a lot of the northern states and the state of Georgia going with the Georgia Bulldogs. Just some of the things, I think FPI has Georgia at 58% when I saw that. So some split thinking going into this national championship game coming up. We continue on here, brought to you by our friends at Culver's. Had a great lunch with our friends at Culver's on the ride up here in our RV from Johnson RV Center.
That's right. And you can go see one of the just soon to be 2 great locations. Culver's, Highway 150, 459, Stadium Trace, right there next to the Hoover Met, just all 459, and enjoy that great Culver's delicious food. Coming soon to Tattersall Park, 119 and 280. Be open very soon. And they'll have 2 great Birmingham locations and many more to come. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Absolutely. And if you're listening on the audio replay right now, we're about to start a live show at 9 a.m. Central Time on Monday from at FanFest up in Indianapolis. We'll do it again Tuesday in our recap show from Indianapolis as well. It's the next round on the road at the National Championship. And we continue on live now on our video platforms, YouTube, Twitter, on Twitch as well, also on Facebook. And you can always catch the show on replay on all those platforms forever and ever. Amen. And being brought to you in part by our friends at Johnson RV and Adam Mestre. More on them in just a second. So this Fan Fest looks like a blast. And
there's a lot of stuff to do in here.
There's a ton of things to do. But, like, what do they do with those big silver statues? I don't know if you can see that on any of our camera shots. But the big silver statues over there that as you walk right in.
No, those are made of nickel. I talked to a guy walking in, and they're gonna they will melt those down and turn it into currency.
That is 100% a lie.
It is.
Yes.
Currency.
But like,
Is change useless?
well, I noticed. I don't know
How often do you guys use change?
No, but I'm gonna tell a story on the drive up. And I don't know if anyone else in our viewing area audience ever does this, but we stopped at one convenience store on the way up. And as we were leaving, Lance took his change and just left it on the counter. It was 27 cents.
Well, somebody will use it.
No, I do it every time.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anywhere to put the change.
Right.
So I just, like, if I'm going through a drive-through, I'll put it in my cup holders.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'll just have the change. But if I go into a place, if I'm ordering food or convenience store, I just leave the change.
Yeah, you did. You said it. They did. I guess because we were in the north, they did not have a good southern thing where you could put it in a little pouch on the side or jar or anything like that. You just left it right in the middle of the counter.
It used to be like cigarette sponsored, by the way. We talked about Marlboros earlier.
Yeah.
Like Cool had like a green dish of change.
Yeah. Well, here's an issue I've run into is when we were in Dallas, Dunaway and I had this harebrained idea. We'd gone to lunch, and rather than Uber back to town, because Ubers were for some reason hard to get at that moment, we decided to take the train back into town. We were up by the SMU campus, and it was like Dunaway didn't have any cash. I said, I'll pay for it. So it was like $3 a ticket. I threw a 20 in there, and I don't know why. I guess I thought they would give you bills back. They gave me 14 $1 coins. So now I got $14 of coins. I know it's a first world problem.
No,
what am I going to do with those?
There's a car wash joint I bet you guys have been to before. And if you pay cash, it gives you only ones back.
Yeah.
So like
one coins?
No, like it's like I think the car wash is $11. So you put a 20 in and nine shoot back.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got
paper,
all these
paper ones.
Yeah, paper ones.
Okay.
And I know
and I feel like I've been to a strip club if I pay anybody in ones.
I know a dollar coin works just like a dollar bill. But I mean, I feel like if I walk in a store and I throw out a dollar coin, they're going to be, oh, I'm sorry, sir, we're going to take U.S. currency.
Yeah, it's like you're on horseback.
Yeah,
I mean who uses dollar coins?
Oh, sir, you're from the Wild West. Welcome.
I've got these 3 gold coins in this pelt right here. What can I get for it? What can I get for it? Johnston RV, though, we had an adventure coming up. I can't wait on the way back. I think I'm going to get to drive some on the way back. Is that true?
Sure, that's fine, Jim.
Yeah.
JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Wait, don't just do a spot. Give me a story behind it.
Well,
do you think I can drive a little on the way back?
The municipalities need to get together, and this infrastructure of roads in Indiana, they're awful.
Yeah.
Like I felt like we were on air the entire way, like from
technically you were.
Well, Birmingham to Nashville was fine, but
fantastic.
after Nashville,
well, a lot of construction after Nashville, and the roads were, they'd put the crap down to melt the snow and ice, so the roads were a little choppy too. But it was bad.
But in Indianapolis, you did have potholes, and LT was in the back,
Oh.
and we'd look back, and it was like a cartoon. Every time we'd hit a bump, he was up in the air like this, still sleeping, fetal position.
Right.
But he was up in the air like this right here.
Again, well documented. Haven't thrown up since December 26, 2009. Yesterday was close.
Yesterday was?
Oh, yeah.
Or last night.
I sensed it.
Well, and today.
JohnstonRVCenter.com. JohnstonRVCenter.com. Family-owned operation there by Rodney and Nick Johnston. Great people, and it's the top-selling travel trailer dealer in the state with 2 great locations off I-65, 304 in Coleman, and exit 334 there in Decatur. Exclusive lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever on all new models and used models under 2 years old. Financing is available. It is home to Cherokee, America's #1 selling camper brand, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Listen,
Who are you waving at?
Some Alabama fans came by and saw us last night from Wetumpka. So it's nice to see them make it back home, though they dressed still the same. So maybe they didn't. Maybe they've been going all night.
Long night. Never know. Way to out them too.
I would say that the thing I have enjoyed most about the trip so far has been the RV, us getting a chance to be into that, but also Lance's. I've had a chance to see Lance drink a little bit, and
I told you guys Friday when I was hydrating. I said, "Look, I am absolutely kidding."
Thank you.
I said, "I'm getting after it this weekend." I told you guys.
Yeah. And you are
Man of his word.
But like you
closed bond.
I won't say you fell asleep, but you closed your eyes in the Uber ride home last night. And I don't know what you were dreaming about, but in our house, we do have a hot tub. So it was a nice Tennessee lady. I don't even know what she looked like or anything, but she was very nice last night. And it was 2 a.m. or so. So LT and I are going back, and he's not asleep, but he's got his eyes closed down, not paying attention. Her and I are talking about good. She's a Tennessee fan, but she doesn't hate Alabama.
It was a power nap.
Power nap. But we're talking about she's glad she's got her Tennessee hat on because it's Alabama, Georgia. She doesn't hate them. She's glad up here in the north that it's all Southern SEC. SEC team's going to win. She's SEC all the way, blah, 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 blah. Nothing about a hot tub is being discussed. There's zero conversation about a hot tub. So we get to the house. I wake LT up from his power nap. And this is all he does is like, all right, so we're coming over for the hot tub maybe tomorrow night. So I don't know what you were dreaming about.
To an Uber driver.
And she was like, I'll think about it, but probably not.
Just don't let me do an Ophelia Flint. I don't know if you remember Larry Flint's wife drowned in the bathtub.
I don't remember that.
I'm glad you know it because I don't know if you remember this part or not, but we get back to the house last night and you're like, let's check out this hot tub, Dunaway. And you go out the back. Now it's icy.
Yeah.
And you slip off the deck.
Yeah.
Catch yourself right foot.
That's the elbow.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't see you fall, but you slipped. You may have hit the elbow on the deck is what you did. You caught yourself, but it's stones on the grass back there and gravel. You're sort of sideways on the stone. So you hit that and you stumble forward, catch yourself on the hot tub. And then you open up the hot tub and magically it's hot. Somebody had turned it on for us. We thought it was Brown, but Brown said this morning he did not turn on the hot
Brown came
tub.
home, brushed his teeth, and went to bed.
Interesting.
So I said, are you going to get in the hot tub? And you said?
I don't know. What did I say?
You said, nope, not going to happen, Dunaway. I'd probably drown.
Oh, okay. Well,
so you know the story at least. So
I'm looking out for myself.
That's right. That's right. Fun times in Indianapolis, and we'll try to survive to make it back. Our buddy Adam Mestre is making all of this happen. Boy, he'd be fun to have on the road too as well.
He would be.
Adam's a fun guy. Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and he wants you to get your home ready to sell this spring. Stage your house properly. These are great tips, by the way. Do all the painting, all the touch-up work, all the minor repairs. Stock up on light bulbs. Make sure your house is lit properly. Give your house a deep clean, declutter, depersonalize. Go rent that storage unit. Get some of the stuff out of the way. Make your house look bigger. And the most important tip, call Adam Mestre at MD Realty. Adam Mestre, 205-422-0589. That's 205-422-0589 for Adam Mestre, MD Realty.
Just people who are watching today wanting to talk normal sports, you make sure you hit us back up on Monday, Mitchell. But he says, can I call in Monday and talk about how Bruce is the best thing to ever happen to Auburn athletics? Y'all didn't agree the last time that I called in and said that. Mitchell, you call in anytime you want. They've got a team that is so deep. And the quote last night, and Forster cut this up and sent it out from Next Round Live, was, I forget which Auburn player it was, says, I have never been on a team that you could take 5 people off the bench and start them in a game and be better than the 5 players on a given night that are starting the game. He thinks they're that deep that you could interchange the starting lineup with 5 people on the bench for the 5 that are on the floor, and they'd be just as good. And Auburn again with a win over Florida yesterday. It is Auburn and Alabama on Tuesday back at Coleman Coliseum. So Monday night national championship, Bama and Georgia in football, and then maybe the best team in the SEC and the country, Auburn and Alabama in basketball, coming up on Tuesday over in Coleman Coliseum. A lot of people today talking about some power being out in the Huntsville area all the way up through Tennessee. It has been a crazy storm day, but many of you are making the drive up here to Indy. We hope you have safe travels, and we appreciate you spending an hour or so with us here today talking about the national championship. We're here at Fan Central. If you're in town, it's a great place to come. It is absolutely free, and you work your way in, and then it's an easy walk down a very long but very climate-controlled tunnel right into Lucas Oil, which is a very high stadium. And does that look higher than some of the dome stadiums we've been to?
I think the thing is, I don't think any of it's underground. I think it was all built, or a lot of it was built on top. I don't know though.
So you're telling me that like Mercedes-Benz or the domes have been to, you go down for some.
And I'm not certain on that, but I think that's the case.
All right. So that's it. Anybody else have anything to say here?
Nope.
All right.
I'm saving my best for tomorrow.
That's right. I got 9-1 tomorrow. That's what I got.
Go Rams.
All right. Rams. Are we going to be able to watch the Rams at our house today?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Oh, y'all can watch it with me. I don't have a problem with that.
I
I think you guys won't enjoy watching it.
I probably won't. Looks like the Dolphins are going throwbacks today, so I may have to invest more in the Dolphins than I was.
Y'all need to go. It's a place called the Yard House.
Yeah.
It looks like really upscale. It's got Sunday ticket. It's got a ton of TVs.
Yeah, Yard House is a place that I'll go to in Vegas occasionally when I'm in Vegas and just hang out there and watch a little lot of great TV setup, good menu as well. So. All right. Thank you, Wayne's. Thank you, Hempfield. Thank you, Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Culver's, JohnstonRVCenter.com, Adam Mestre. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk more with you tomorrow from the live show here. And then stay on social media when we're done tomorrow. We'll be hitting some videos from inside the stadium. Brown and I will be down on the field giving you some pregame thoughts, who we see in the lineup. Maybe a little Chris Allen dressed.
Maybe so.
I heard that last night.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Chris Allen dress. Late little nugget there for you people that stayed on to the end of the YouTube video. Thank you guys. Enjoy your Sunday. And until next time, God bless you. God bless America.